All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Colleen Withers. I'm part of the Santa Clara Career Center, the director of the career development team, and so happy to have our representative from Jobscan here to give us the details of the best way to use the platform and help us with the job search. So take it away.
Thanks, Colleen. So, hi again, everybody. My name is Liana. It is my pleasure to introduce you to the tool today, to JobScan, which is something you have access to now as part of your tools for your job search. Colleen, if you could go ahead and put in the chat, like how everybody could get access to the tool. I think that's always the number one question I get when we start talking about this. So we'll show you how you get access to the tool. And if you wanted to play along with me, that's fine. And that's great. I would love that as well. Today, we're going to look at a little bit about what recruiters are doing on their end to make some recruitment decisions, how that impacts you, and then how JobsCan can help you to navigate that going forward. Okay, so who here has heard of an applicant tracking system? Give me a thumbs up if you have heard of an applicant tracking system and you know what it does. I'll wait for a couple thumbs up here. Okay, one thumbs up. Okay, one person here knows what an applicant tracking system is. Don't worry. Let's take a look at what they are and also how recruiters are using it. Okay, so I'm going to start to share my screen here. So, applicant tracking systems is, or ATSs, as I will reference it for the rest of the presentation, is a system, tool, software, algorithm, and for some companies now, AI that recruitment teams will use to streamline recruiting processes. So, for example, like a big Fortune 500 company like Amazon, in a single day, Amazon could receive up to 2,000 applications for a single job posting. That's a wild number of applications for a single human recruiter to go through. So a company like Amazon will utilize an ATS to filter the candidates based off of skills, education, and other hiring criteria that they will set. Their ATS then generates a report for the recruiters to say, hi, human recruiter, here are the top 20 candidates from today's pool of applicants and based off of the job description and your hiring criteria. From there, those top 20 sort of qualified candidates, that's what recruiters will review and then see who they want to invite to the interview process. Okay, so the next step of the recruitment process here. Within Fortune 500 companies, almost 100% of them will utilize a system of some sort. So a ATS, a CRM, some sort of database to manage all of these applications to do some sort of keyword search. Okay, so what this means for all of you who gave me a thumbs up earlier for saying that you are actively job seeking, for those of you who have gone to company career pages, who have gone to different job boards and have clicked on the button apply to this job, you are more than likely going to come into contact with an applicant tracking system. In 2025, it's going to be almost impossible for you to avoid completely from your job search. So it's something that you have to keep at top of mind when you're applying, okay? Within the market here, these are the most popular applicant tracking systems across industries, across company sizes. So here, even at like JobScan, we are not a Fortune 500 company. We utilize the ATS called Lever. And most of these ATSs have that core functionality of generating a report, creating a summary, making recommendations for the recruiter, but how they assess each application or how they extract information can look different from ATS to ATS. Different recruiting teams will have different sort of best practices, different culture, team culture, right? They will have different sort of priorities they'll want to take from each person's application. So that's why there's tons of providers out there. Okay. So what does an ATS look like? Let's take a look behind the curtain of a recruiter's side. This is one called Oracle, right? So this one that is utilized by companies like Lululemon, they use this ATS here. The visual indicator that this software or system provides to the recruiter is a green health bar here to showcase if a candidate is a good match for the job that they're hiring for. So for this example here for a marketing specialist, I can see these two being the top candidates, top qualified candidates based off the information in their application compared to the job description that I am sort of recruiting for or have posted. Okay, so the applicant tracking system has made this recommendation here for me. So as a recruiter, I might look at these two candidates first to see if I want to now invite them to the interview process. This is Workday. Some of you who are actively job seeking might be familiar with Workday because you have probably gone through it. Workday is one of the most popular applicant tracking systems out there. Their visual indicator to the recruiter is this letter grade that it provides or ranks candidates here. And also more than that, what you can see here, the Workday generates sort of this Excel sheet, almost a spreadsheet for the recruiter to also see different pieces of information. So I can see what the current or last job is, what the highest degree is, based off, again, the information in your application, in your resume. And recruiters are also able to filter candidates by keywords, by skills. So this is sort of again, a peek behind the curtain for what recruiters see when they're utilizing different applicant tracking systems, okay? This is SAP SuccessFactors, another very popular ATS. The visual indicator it provides to the recruiters is this also a health bar here, but specifically focused on matching skills. This is one of the things where like the thing that we are assessing most is skills. And when a recruiter hover over the matching skills health bar here, it shows the recruiter what is extracted from your application. So what are the skills that are matching? And then what are the skills that are missing from your application? So what's listed in the job description that doesn't show up in your resume? So from here, a recruiter could look at a specific, maybe software, a skill, a platform, a software, things like that, and say, okay, maybe this is very crucial for the role that I'm applying for. So even if you are one of our top candidates for skills compatibility, if you don't have one, I still cannot in good conscience interview you because this is the one that is crucial for our role. Okay, so these are just some examples of applicant tracking systems and the type of information that they provide to the recruiter. So with this in mind, the application that we want to send or we focus on sending is something that should be ATS accessible. So when we say ATS accessible, we want to make sure that these softwares are able to pick up the information from our resume and then also see that we are a one-to-one match for the things that they are looking for. Okay, so let's jump into Jobscan now to see how we can optimize our application to make sure applicant tracking systems like these rank us higher than others. Okay, so let's jump into Jobscan. So when you sign into Jobscan, you will go to a premium account, right? And with your premium account, you will get 6 premium features. Those are our resume builder, our job board, our resume optimizer, a cover letter generator, a job tracker, as well as a LinkedIn scanner. So let's jump right into the tool here with our resume builder. So if you need a jumping off point, like you need to get yourself set up on the tool, you haven't used Jobscan before, that's okay. So give me a thumbs up here if you have logged into Jobscan before already. One thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, no worries. So I'll walk you through the whole thing. That's what we're here to do today. All right. So our resume builder here is designed to help you at any part of your resume journey. If you have engaged with any career educator on campus, somebody who's giving you career advice, you've built a resume, perfect. Just upload it here. And what we will do is check for formatting. So we're looking for ATS accessibility here, ATS friendliness. So many of the tools that I had shown you for the applicant tracking systems, many of them are built off of very standard, chronological, traditional type of resumes. And I know when I say that, some of you probably are going to think that sounds like a really ugly and boring resume. You are not wrong. It is kind of like, it's not flashy, it's not pretty, but a lot of these applicant tracking systems are primarily text parsers, and their formatting is quite rigid in terms of they're assuming the type of information that you're going to feed them. So it is work experience, education, skills, volunteer experience, maybe awards, achievements, things like that, right? So it's very sort of standard in the way that it's looking for information. So if you're writing section headings like my journey or special speaking engagements, things like that, it will confuse the applicant tracking system. So that means when you import it here, that's what we're checking for. We're trying to make sure that the applicant tracking system can read through your resume, pick up the information, sort it correctly. And we're also checking for like the lining, the spacing, the margins, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're just going to readjust your content to make it ATS accessible. If you have a very robust LinkedIn, good. We can take that stuff from your LinkedIn and then make an ATS accessible, ATS friendly resume for you. If not, we can always start from scratch. And when we start from scratch, just choose one of our templates here. You are not at all married to these templates. You can change these at any time. This is just sort of setting the foundation here. And then all you need to do is start filling in this information. And as you fill in the information, you can see that it does populate on the right hand side here. So we are the ones handling the spacing, the linings, the margins, the section headings for you. And at the end, you can download it to your device as a PDF or a Word document. But as long as you have an internet connection and you have a device, all of your resumes can be saved in Jobscan and you can make as many resumes as you like. So for folks who are in the business sort of field, you can have one for accounting, one for payroll, one for like accounts receivable, like different types of job titles. You can have one for marketing and admin duties and or like administrative assistant, things like that. You can have as many resumes as you need to sort of cast your wide net in your job search. Okay, so that's just getting set up in the profile if you're logging in for the first time. So let's assume I have a resume ready to go and I'm ready to start window shopping for jobs and I want to look for just a role, just I'm like looking to apply for a job. Okay. Today we're just going to look at a company that I pulled up today, Sherwin-Williams. If you're familiar with like, I think they're famous for their paints, right? Sherwin-Williams, and I just typed in accounting based off the first person who responded today. That was in, I think that was Holly. You have responded in the chat first, and I put in accounting. So in here, when I looked at accounting roles, I'm just going to look at this one here, finance associate, real estate accounting. Okay. When I'm looking at a job description, the most important things that I want from a page like this has to do with the role itself. So I'm looking at the qualifications, like the must-haves, things like that, the skill set. So I want to copy paste this part. I want to take this job description. I want to take the responsibilities, the qualifications, all of this required, and things about like preferred as well. So if a job description says nice to have, or like let's say bonuses, things like that, I want to pay attention to that as well. Sometimes they'll put in preferred or bonuses like you speak a second language or you have experience in different type of software or different type of industry. That's great. I want to take this information. Everything else, things like about us or any of the like the legal disclaimers at the bottom or any sort of information about like compensations and benefits package, that's all great. That's bonus for me as a candidate to go and see, but not necessary for me to start optimizing my resume. These are all of the things I really want to pay attention to. I'm going to copy this. And what I'm going to do when I'm in JobScan is I'm going to click New Scan. I'm going to paste that in here, the job description box in here. And then I'm going to choose which resume is going to be the best fit for this role. So this is the resume we just built 2 minutes ago together. And these are all of my other resumes that are saved in my account. So like I had mentioned, you can have as many resumes as you need. So I have an accountant one, a junior analyst one, a business intelligence product manager. So for all of you, you can have multiple and as many as you need. So I'm going to choose this junior accountant one for this finance role, real estate accounting. And then two things I can do. I can scan or PowerEdit. Scan here gives me a quick report on how this resume compares to this job description. It's going to give me a feedback of the things that are maybe missing. But PowerEdit gives me that information as well, the same ones, but brings me to the editing interface where I can now actually get into my resume and then start making some edits. Realistically, why we want to make these two options sort of accessible to you is for some folks, they want to scan just to see like an initial score, like where I stand, how does this compare right now? And then people backtrack and like, let's try a different resume, right? And then for some folks, you might not have the time as well. You just want to see a quick report. You might be in between classes, right? You don't have time to actually be sat with your device out to actually start editing. But if you do, then great, you can jump to PowerEdit. I'll show you both. And I'll just point out here, this is a text box here. So if you did miss any information, you can always add information in here. And if you added too much, like those legal disclaimers, you can always take it out. Okay, so let's hit scan. Let's see the quick report here of how things compare. Okay, so I'm scoring quickly. The first thing you notice is a 34. This is my ATS match rate. Okay, so it's sort of like a quick assessment and assumption of like how my resume compares to the job description. All right. Realistically, I know for some of you, you're going to jump straight to the hard skills and soft skills because you want to see the key content in here, the key skills that are missing from your resume as it compares to this job description. So when I jump to hard skills, let's take a look. So real estate is mentioned 3 times in the job description, 0 times in my resume. That makes sense. This is for the real estate industry. Let's say here, finance is mentioned twice. It's mentioned 4 times in my resume, so we're good. What else? Okay, Microsoft Office products, business administration, mentioned a couple times. These are things that maybe I want to continue to include in my resume. Okay, soft skills, just a few things in here. Written communication skills, should mention that in my resume as well. For some of you, maybe this one is like you have a low score here. You want to choose another resume. You can go back to clicking a new scan again, just a new scan here, and then trying it again with a different resume. Or for some of you, this is a good resume and a good jumping off point. You can go to PowerEdit to now start to edit this resume to increase your match rate here. So you increase your chances at passing the ATS, increase your chances at getting the interview. Okay, so this score here is only a reflection of how your resume is written, the spelling, the tenses, the grammatical structure. Okay, so that's what's being compared to the job description. So I know some of you will see a low score. Some of you might think, oh my God, this is a failing grade. Like I'm so underqualified for this job. You might throw out this application. That's not at all what I want you to think about this score. This score is just a reflection of how things are sort of laid out in the resume. Okay, lots of things that we can do to increase the score, and that's our goal here. All right. So first thing we want to do in terms of feeding information into Jobscan that can help you with sort of, again, seeing the boundaries you need to work within to make this as ATS accessible as possible is putting in this company information. This company information here is what is going to help us identify what applicant tracking system Sherwin-Williams is using. So what is Sherwin-Williams ATS's capabilities in reading my resume and assessing my resume? So this is Sherwin-Williams. This is for what was this for? Finance associate. Let's do that. Finance associate. Copy paste this. And then very importantly, I also want to put in the URL for this job description here. Any of this information is helpful to identify the applicant tracking system. So I'm going to update details here. I'm just going to do a quick refresh. And how I'm going to see that information about the applicant tracking system is in searchability. It's the first drop-down menu here. It's the first thing we want you to check. So I'm going to zoom in here to see more information about this ATS report. So because I put in the URL and the name Sherwin-Williams in here, our tool Jobscan has identified that Sherwin-Williams uses the ATS called Taleo. And these are all the things that Taleo does or doesn't do as it relates to its capability to read and assess my resume. Taleo recognizes only exact keywords. So the way it's written in the job description is exactly how it's looking for it in my resume. Taleo does not recognize common abbreviations. So for all of you some of you are in your master's right now, getting your master's. Some of you have different certifications, things like that. A lot of the abbreviations can be industry recognizable. A technical recruiter can see it and recognize it. A technical recruiter can recognize PMP as a project management professional or a CPA as certified public accountant. Taleo as a piece of software might not have that industry knowledge, might see CPA and think it's just 3 random letters together. So for any of you who have certifications, who have higher education, who have access to or use specialized machinery, tool, equipment that have common jargon and common abbreviations, you should fully type out the name like certified public accountant and then put in brackets CPA, whatever that abbreviation is, just to make sure that the ATS can pick it up that you have the skill that it is looking for. Okay. Taleo does not correctly parse flowcharts. So things like tables, line charts, bar charts, basically any pictures is not accessible to Taleo. It doesn't have human eyes to kind of infer the type of information you're communicating. So if you put pictures, it'll be wasted space on your resume. So stick to text. And Taleo does not recognize different tenses, abbreviations, acronyms of skills, and keywords. So again, the grammatical structure of how you present things in your resume is going to matter to Taleo. So for Taleo, there's going to be a difference between customer service and client service. There's going to be a difference between, let's say for an event manager, there's going to be a difference between execution of events and event execution. So again, have that grammatical structure, the spelling, everything like that makes a difference to Taleo. It's looking for one and not the other. Okay. So with that in mind, we can fully take a look again at the skills that are listed that are missing and then using this as sort of our background information, the boundaries we need to work in to be able to optimize this resume. I will take a pause here just to see what are your questions about applicant tracking systems and its capabilities. And I'll also just take a sip of water here. If you would like to ask a question, feel free to use the chat right now. I'd love to take your questions as we go. But if you feel comfortable also unmuting yourself, absolutely you can feel free to do that. Okay, if we are good to keep moving, can I get a thumbs up? Oh, I think I did see something in the chat here. How up to date is Jobscan on these different ATSs? As wow, difficult question to ask, Holly. Um, when a company changes the ATS, if we can see in the URL, that's how we'll know. The URL is a lot of the ways that we can see it. So here, Oracle Cloud here for Sherwin-Williams, we know Oracle Cloud owns the software Taleo, so that's how we are identifying it. So as long as like it's in the URL, that information gets updated immediately. That's one of our identifiers in here. There are some companies that will have they will white label everything. Like if you go to, I usually use like a Lululemon example. Their URL up here will be careers.lululemon.com. I can't see the name of the ATS in there. I can't identify, there's no sort of watermark on it. Those ones will require like our sweat equity, but we have a very dedicated market research team that even like calls up recruiters at Lululemon. We'll like ask them a question like, what ATS are you using? And for those like really big companies, it's very rare for them to like hop around too much. So when we say like, okay, they have it, it'll take maybe years for them to be able to hop over. For example, here we have in medical industry. So I'm up here, I'm a bit north than all of you, like I'm in Canada. For our sort of medical industry here, they are switching over to Workday from iCIMS, different ATSs. They are placing a 3-year plan to be able to switch over because HR software systems for big companies are just, there's that much data, there's that much planning that goes into place. So if every 3 years, every year we're checking, I'm like, are you still using Workday? That's like how updated we are. I hope that answers your question, Holly.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
also had another question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Taleo in your example, and I
Yeah.
was just wondering, so you mentioned that Taleo doesn't recognize common acronyms. And
Yeah.
so if Taleo updates and improves and learns to recognize them, will it
Yeah.
be instantly updated on JobScan or is there a loading period?
There is a loading period because we also run our tests. So the way that
Hmm.
we get all of this information is we buy sandbox licenses to test it and we
Hmm.
brute force test all of this is why we know all of these capabilities in here. So when that gets
Hmm.
updated in our testing and we see that gets updated, then we update here as well.
Great. Thank you so much.
No problem. Alex, you have a question. Go for it.
Yeah, for the web address that you provided, is that the web address to the specific position you're trying to tailor the resume to, or is that
Correct.
an address to a more general page on the site? Like, for example, all the search results, if you search for under a specific niche, like accounting, but not the specific position.
I would say your best bet will be for putting the URL for the specific job in here. So this one here is the URL for this job, right? When I exit it out, it's going to be a different one for the search results here. So I put in the URL for this page specific for this job. So whatever job that you are optimizing for, put in the URL for that specific page. So that means also if you're going on LinkedIn to see it, it's not the LinkedIn URL. You're going to click like find that company, find their career page, whatever that job description is on their own page. That's the URL that you put into Jobscan. That will be the most accurate information. Hope that helps, Alex. Go for it, Heidi. You have a question, Heidi?
And can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, it's great. I had a question because I'm a bio-E major, so I know like part of the resume is like lab requirements and lab
Hmm.
skills and those kind of technical skills.
Yeah.
Um, does JobScan also like check for those kinds of things?
Yeah, so that's actually a great segue, Heidi. Let's get into sort of like putting in the skills now into my resume. Okay. This is a great
Okay,
example.
perfect.
Thank you, Heidi, for that alley-oop. Okay, let's look at the skills here. So Heidi, for your specific example for like bio, right? So this one here is
Mhm.
for finance. All of these hard skills here that are pulled, like from the report, are specifically coming from the job description. So whatever job description you've put in, Heidi, that references specific skills like in the labs, like whatever skills you are developing in labs, whatever software you're using for your data management, for your research, things like that, whatever is pulled from the job description you upload will inform this hard skills list. And so how you want to format that into your resume in here, I want to focus on the things specifically mentioned in the job description. This is what we talk about for like optimizing your resume for every job description, because no two job descriptions are written the same. No two companies are looking for the same exact type of candidate. So here, let's say here, I am looking at PowerPoint, Excel. So these are things, just softwares that I might use. I can use this arrow button here on Jobscan to chuck this into like my core skills section. And then once it's there, it'll be highlighted green, which means these are a match to from my resume to something in the job description. And then we will see my score get updated from, I think we started at a 38, now I'm up to a 39. Oh, we just started maybe 37 or lower. But if you need help with writing a specific bullet point about a missing skill, let's say here for property tax, I need help with writing a bullet point, I can click into this and I will get some generated phrases as suggestions on how to incorporate this specific skill into my resume based off what's already in here. So these ones here, manage property tax filings, using it for assessment for finance, for cost savings. So this again coming into finance relationship or like finance, like what I have been doing in here. So whatever I like best, I can kind of copy and paste. But what I will say about utilizing AI tools like this is AI is really helpful to move things along. However, it's still on us as ethical human beings to make sure that it's an accurate reflection of our experience. So make sure you take a second to still adjust it into your voice. Okay? Does that answer your question,
Okay, wait,
Heidi?
and then yeah, that does. And then I had one more question.
Yeah.
So like there's also like a project section in my
Yeah.
resume.
Yeah.
So like I have like a couple projects in there. Does JobScan also like provide help with that as well?
Yeah, so in our editor here, this is the sort of like a resume builder part. So you
Oh,
have a
okay, cool.
project section as well. So when you're building your resume, as we saw on the first page or like the first jumping off point, you can add in whatever sections here. So project, volunteering, awards, certificates, additional stuff, like whatever. So projects here are a great place to showcase your skills.
Okay, and then it also like I'm assuming JobScan provides help with like your kind of like personal summary that's at the very top.
Correct. We do that as well. Let's say here, profile info. So summary is here, I have one, but if you don't, there is sort of like a generate button. There you go. Generate summary. We will
Oh,
take
okay.
into consideration whatever you have put into your resume already as like the baseline content. Again, this is
Okay.
AI, so AI is not perfect. You
Hmm.
absolutely need to always adjust whatever AI has generated for you. AI is only a jumping off point. Recruiters
Yeah.
are very good at recognizing patterns of like, the robotic voice of AI. So absolutely try to put it in your voice as much as possible. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. Okay, now I'm up to a 44. That's great. I feel really good about this. So I want to showcase one thing that again highlight to bring my point home about something. So I want to use reconciliation as a example. So I will take this out here. Because reconciliation is right down here as well. So reconciliation is highlighted green, so it matches from this list of hard skills. So in my resume, it matches with something that's in the job description, right? And it's very specifically looking for reconciliation. If I said not reconciliation, but assisted in reconciling bank statements, so I'm changing the grammatical structure here. I have gone from a 44 to a 41 because reconciling is not what this ATS and this job description is looking for. It's looking for reconciliation. Okay. So just as a very real reminder here that the grammatical structure, the spelling, the tenses are very important, and you, as much as possible, should match one to one whatever is written in the job description. Okay, so let me get those 2 points back. Reconciliation of bank statements. From a 41 to a 44. Amazing. Okay, Heidi, did you still have a question? Your hand is still up. Or are you good? You're good. Okay,
Sorry
awesome.
about that. I forgot to lower my hand. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, at this point here, soft skills also will be the same mechanism in here in terms of like adding it to your resume, generating some sort of bullet points in here. Okay, so as you are going through it and you're able to add more hard skills, add more into here, and then you get a score that you're happy with, and the score usually we recommend 75% is a good score. The goal is not 100%. There's no such thing as a perfect candidate. There's no such thing as a perfect resume. So don't try to sort of like force yourself to get 100%. We say 75% is good. So once you've hit that, or you're just happy with your score, if you're starting from like a 20 and you've increased your score to a 60, you have more than tripled your chances at getting the interview, right? So once you're happy with the score here, this is where you can download it as a PDF or a Word document. We do recommend PDF. All ATSs can accept PDF. Not all ATSs can accept Word document. And if you submit a Word document to an ATS that can't accept it, it will be a corrupted file. And I personally do not know any recruiters who will reach out to candidates to be like, hey, you uploaded a corrupted file. Do you want to try again? The recruiters will have thousands of other applicants to go through before they get to your corrupted file. So use a PDF here. And if you're really happy with this resume, this star right here is where you can save this version of your resume, and you can put it as like finance/accounting 2.0. And this is now an option for you to use for your next scan for the next application if you wanted to. So this becomes a saved resume for yourself, and it'll pop up in the menu every time you do a new scan. Okay, so searchability, hard skills, and soft skills, these three areas will be the main areas that will help you to improve your score. But we do have, just some gentle nudges and reminders for you, like recruiter tips. Recruiter tips are sourced from our focus groups where we ask recruiters what do they love to see on resumes. So there's things like measurable results. If you have engaged with your career educators on campus, they would have told you put numbers in your resume. It's a great way to attract the eye attention of a recruiter. That's what they say in our focus groups as well. But all of these suggestions here, if you don't have it, you will not get penalized for this score. Okay, so that's just there as recruiter tips. A reminder, the editor is here for you to adjust any of your sections, and style is adjusting any of the templates that you have in here. And again, you can download and then you can save it here. Okay, this is where I'm going to pause. Okay, awesome. Alex, go for it. You have
Yeah,
a
I
question.
wanted to ask about the procedure of like tailoring your resume to fit one of the AI templates if the resume that you usually work on a Google Doc does not match with any of them.
That doesn't match with any of these templates here.
Yeah.
That's fine. You can download this as a Microsoft Word or even a PDF, and you can upload that to Google Docs if that's something that you really love to work off of. That's totally up to you. One of the things that we just sort of remind you, just check your searchability here. This gives you sort of that context around what it can or cannot take. So if you're using like a Google Doc template, as long as it's like still focused on text, that'll be really good. That's the most accessible to most ATSs. If you're using any special fonts, those are the ones that's when it gets a little bit tricky. So if you're using specialized fonts, really bright colors, or if you're using things like, we hop to the different side of the spectrum of like Canva, you're using Canva to build your resume, anything that's a little bit like too creative and not standard suddenly might save, especially in Canva, will save as a picture and not as text. So even in that metadata of a PDF document, it might read as a picture instead of text. So that's the only thing that I will warn, Alex. You're totally welcome to use your own templates if you want to. Like you can
What
downloading.
about like does the thing about like reading it as pictures instead of text, does that also apply to like popular icons? Like for example,
Yes,
like on the bottom of your name, you might use the GitHub icon before you put in your GitHub link.
correct. It does include that as well. So if you're using an icon to say like, this is a hyperlink to my GitHub, and you're using the GitHub icon, that might not be accessible to an ATS because it's hidden behind a picture and a picture is not processable. So for any links in here, you want to put it like this in your contact information. Like, here's my LinkedIn, here's my GitHub, or for any of you in the creative field, here's my portfolio in general. You can do that. Most ATSs now in a job application will just have that as part of the application. Like, submit your resume here. What's your first name? What's your last name? Submit your resume here. What's your email? What's your external link? That one you can put in your LinkedIn, you can put in your GitHub link, you can put in your portfolio link. That is also a place where you absolutely want to have that information. I hope that answers your question, Alex.
Yeah, it does. I think for me, my resume did use icons because I was trying to put all the personal information in one line under my name for spacing purposes.
Yeah, anything hidden behind an icon might be not accessible to an ATS. I won't speak for all ATSs. There will be some that have the sophistication with the accessibility of AI. That's going to be a thing. But let's say here, specifically for Sherwin-Williams, who uses Taleo, that is not a thing that Taleo can process. That's why we say optimize every job for every resume for every job for every company for every ATS, because not all ATSs perform the same or have the same capabilities. Okay, so make sure that you know what ATS you're going up against for these companies. Okay, awesome. Thanks for the question, Alex. Let's move on quickly here. So after here, you have a sorry, we're just gonna mute folks in here. If you are unmuted yourself, please feel free to mute yourself. Just I'm getting some background noise here. Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to cover letter. Now, cover letters are not a mandatory part of application these days. And they're not always asked for in a job description, but cover letters are still a great way to stand out. So for those of you who gave me a thumbs up earlier, who said you're actively job searching, I think that was maybe 2 or 3 of you. Did you also include, like in your last job application, did you include a cover letter? Yes or no? If you're okay and comfortable to share, give me a thumbs up if you did include a cover letter for your last job application. 1 thumbs up. Perfect. Okay, great. So yes, cover letters are not a mandatory part here. But in a recent survey that we conducted at Jobscan of recruiters, we surveyed about 400 recruiters here, and we put it in a report called The State of the Job Search. One of the things that came up is cover letters, and we put that in one of the infographics here, factors that influence interview rates in 2025. Cover letters came up here. By providing a cover letter as included in your application, you increase your interview chances 3.4 times. Okay, so including a cover letter will never hinder your chances of getting the interview, will only help you to boost your chances here. And when we followed up on that question about like, what do recruiters want to see from a cover letter, put that in a different infographic, something that makes a candidate stand out in 2025. So recruiters reported when a candidate writes a personalized cover letter that highlights their value, so this is the company's value here. So when you have a cover letter that is great at elaborating on your technical skills, or the things you've mentioned in your resume, but also highlights the way that you connect with the company's culture, mission, vision, values, things like that. That's a great cover letter. That's helping you to stand out. That's helping you to increase your interview rates in here. Okay. So we do have something of a cover letter generator for you. But when you use this, again, it's using AI. AI is helpful, but not perfect. Always validate that this is an accurate reflection of your experience. When you generate a cover letter here, we're generating something very short and sweet because we are only elaborating or giving you a couple sentences to help you elaborate on your resume, because we are leaving that extra space for you to take it across the finish line. You have to be the one to do your homework on the company, to see what their values are, and then you have to be the one to write about how you connect with those values and how that shows up in your life and whatever else you want to highlight in your cover letter. Okay, there's always going to be like a short cover letter here that's generated for you. You can rewrite this as many times as you like with your premium accounts, but we're still clear all those interpersonal pieces, those pieces that really help you to stand out with a recruiter, those are still on you. Okay, so you have to do your homework, you have to do your research, you have to put in the sweat equity into this to take it across the finish line. All right, then once you're done, you can download it. But what we define now is that most applications have the cover letter text box that you can just copy paste. So you can click in here, add notes for yourself, add something about the company values, things like that. And then once that's done, you can like copy and paste all of this into those text boxes for the applicant tracking systems for those companies that you're applying to. Okay, so I've got a resume, I've got a cover letter, I'm good. I'm gonna save this in my job tracker to keep myself organized. Okay, so here is my job tracker. Once I've saved something, it's just gonna remind me, this is the job description I use. This was the resume, this was the cover letter that we generated. All good, all good. Let me save it here. And here's my job tracker where I'm keeping track of the jobs I have saved, so jobs I'm interested in applying to, the jobs I did apply to, where I'm interviewing, where I got an offer, and if I've gotten rejected for any of these jobs yet. Okay, so the jobs that are in my save pile are things that I have, like we saw for this Sherwin-Williams job, ones that I have copy pasted, ones I have an optimized resume for. And these are also coming from multiple places where I am window shopping for roles. Where I'm window shopping can come from our job board here. So there's find jobs here, and I'll show you what that looks like here. So I can do accounting or accountant, and oops, yeah. So I have like a financial analyst one here. So anything around accounting, around finance, it will show for like my location. So I'm on the west coast of Canada. So once I'm window shopping in here, I can click save job and this will go to my save pile. Additionally, if you like to look at different job boards like Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Monster, and Handshake as well, you can install our Google Chrome extension. This is the only one that we have on the Chrome web store. So just type in Jobscan. And once you've installed this in your browser, you will see an extra save job button here on all of your LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Monster, and Handshake. So when you're window shopping here, if you like this job, you can click this button and this will pull all of this information. And when you click save, it goes directly to your Jobscan profile so that everything is saved in one place right here. Okay, so I have this save job here. Let's say I applied, I can pull it over to the applied section, set my application date to see, okay, it's been 3 weeks since I applied for this job. I haven't heard back, probably didn't get the job. That's okay. Let me look at the 93 other jobs I have saved in my job tracker. You pull it over to interview. We'll send you reminders to your inbox that you can sync with your Google Calendar for these interviews. We send you reminders of like how to best practice and prepare for the interview. We send you reminders after the interview as well to say, hey, you should say thank you, send a thank you note to the recruiters about, to say thank you to the recruiter to make a good impression. So some gentle nudges here. And then if you have the offer, you can pull it over to the offer side, add salary information, add the date you need to accept the job offer by, add whatever notes you want to put in here, like, yeah, whatever research or homework that you have done. You can add as many notes as you need to per job that you are researching or interviewing for. Okay, so that's how you can use your job tracker to keep track of everything that you are doing. Okay, so any questions so far about the cover letter generator or our job tracker before we go into our last thing? Any questions? Feel free to use the chat or unmute yourself if you have a thought at this moment. Okay, let's look at our last thing in here. So I highlighted two infographics in here. So first one here, factors influencing interview rates. The first one we kind of glazed over because we looked at cover letters immediately. The first one is optimized LinkedIn profile. So LinkedIn is a very core part of a recruiter's day-to-day in 2025, okay? 94% of recruiters will go to your LinkedIn profile to vet you as a candidate during the interview process, and 87% of recruiters utilize LinkedIn as a sourcing tool. So they're window shopping for candidates like you. So give me a thumbs up here if you have a LinkedIn profile that you update regularly. So give me a thumbs up here. Are all of you on LinkedIn? One thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Okay, 2 thumbs up, 3. Okay, perfect. More of you. That made me feel better. I was nervous for all of you for a second. because LinkedIn is a huge part of a recruiter's day to day. So for you as a job seeker, it's going to be very valuable for you to have a presence on LinkedIn so that you are accessible to recruiters. Okay. So one of the things that we're going to help you with is by building an optimized LinkedIn profile. Okay. So here you can hover over LinkedIn Scanner and we go to the LinkedIn Optimizer. I'm going to put in my LinkedIn profile URL in here and click continue. And then it's going to ask for at least 3 job descriptions. So 3 job description here is what we need to get a good idea of the type of role that you're going for or the type of industry. Okay. So it's very different from your resume. Your resume is optimized for 1 job description, 1 company, 1 ATS, right? And that's sort of the best practices that you have to do that. For LinkedIn in general, it is talking about how you're a great candidate for a type of role or a type of industry. So we need to feed Jobscan enough information about that. If it's your first time using it, you can copy paste the new job description here, and then it'll become one of these sort of cue cards for you to select. So I'm going to choose this one here, accounting analyst, and share this bookkeeping one. Why not? These 3 to sort of look and compare my LinkedIn to so that I can optimize my LinkedIn for not only the LinkedIn algorithm, but for these types of roles as well. Okay, so I'm going to click scan here and I'm going to get a score and feedback based off this job description and the LinkedIn algorithm as well. All right, so let's look at the different pieces of information in here. I'm scoring a 42, not terrible, but definitely lots of space for me to grow or to optimize a little bit more. The first category here, basic information, talks more about the LinkedIn algorithm's ability to see your information that is searchable by the recruiter. Okay, so here, let's say location. I don't have my province, so for Canada, that's like state information in my profile. So that's like saying here I have Los Angeles as a city, but not California as a state in my information. And that's something that we want to sort of rectify here and edit because state information is a searchable field for a recruiter. So a recruiter could be, I'm looking for a biochemist in California. If you have not put in California as your state information, you've only put a city, the LinkedIn algorithm can't see that information. It's going to be like, hey, you're not in California. I cannot include you in the search results for this recruiter. Okay, so that's why that searchable information should always be available in your profile. Okay, things like open to work, the open to work status / banner is a positive thing for the LinkedIn algorithm. It will boost your profile views, boost you to recruiters who are looking for candidates for the first 60 days that you have the banner open or like having the open to work status. Okay. Some recruiters will prefer candidates who are available right now because of their own timeline. Sometimes they will need to fill roles really quickly. They might not have time to entertain candidates who they have to wait like to put in their 2-3 weeks notice with their current employer, things like that. So open to work banner or open to work status is something that is seen positively for the LinkedIn algorithm and some recruiters. And if you need a little bit more context about what's happening behind the scenes for recruiters and for the LinkedIn algorithm, you can all click on the question mark bubbles here to get a little bit more behind the scenes context about why this is important. Okay. Alrighty. High impact here talks about the top 2 places the LinkedIn algorithm will pull keywords first, and those are the headline and the profile summary. So based off the job descriptions I've included, where it's like accounting, full chart bookkeeper, management, things like that are keywords that I should start to include because that's what the LinkedIn algorithm will look for when jobs like this are posted for recruiters. Work experience here talks about accessibility of my information. Here are full green check marks for company name because in my profile here, I have all of the companies I have ever worked for linked in my profile. So recruiters are 1 click away from learning more about me when they're on my profile. If I get all X's here or like I make any of my profile information private or inaccessible, there will be some recruiters who will be like, oh, I'm working too hard to find this information. Thank you next. Like close tab, thank you next, because somebody else has all that information there. It's easier for me to make an assessment on them. So make sure you're not making the recruiter work too hard to learn more about you. Okay, key skills. These are based on the job description. So taking stock of all the job description and seeing all of the key skills across these job descriptions. So if you are a person who's also career changing or part of a sort of a career path that transcends a couple of different industries, you can utilize multiple different job descriptions and different job titles in different industries to see sort of what is the most common denominator or like what's the most transferable skills across these industries or across these job titles, just to help you sort of focus your LinkedIn profile a little bit more. So for here, accounting is mentioned 9 times across the 3 job descriptions, right? But 0 times in my LinkedIn profile. That's something I should add if I'm trying to show myself as a great candidate for these types of roles. What else? Management mentioned 7 times. Finance mentioned 5 times. Tax preparation mentioned 5 times. So again, utilize this also as an exercise to sort of focus the skills that you should develop a little bit more or highlight more on your profile. And then we wrap up with education. Sometimes recruiters are just looking for, do you have the baseline education? You do? Awesome. Great. Cool. Next. And tips and tricks here are, again, from our focus group. What do recruiters like to see? Things like a vanity URL. So a URL for your LinkedIn that has your first and last name and not just like a random bunch of letters, things like that. So that's what recruiters are looking for in your LinkedIn. So whatever exists here in this report, whatever you can adjust, go to your LinkedIn profile, click on the pencil icon to adjust as much as you can. And then after that, rescan to see how much you have improved from this score here. Okay, so that's how you can utilize Jobscan to optimize your resume. Okay, generate a cover letter, keep track of all your applications, as well as boost your LinkedIn profile views with an optimized LinkedIn profile. Okay, so for all of you who are job searching, very much best of luck in utilizing Jobscan to boost your chances at getting your interviews. Okay, this is where I'll pause here. Any questions? What are your questions, folks?
Does JobScan also provide like feedback on your summary within your LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, am I still sharing screen here?
Yeah. Sorry, I
Okay,
kind of missed that part a little bit.
awesome. Yeah, so here's your headline, here's your profile summary in here. So based on it, here's feedback is like your summary is too short. What we recommend is including like management or like bookkeeper, things like that. We recommend putting accounting in your headline. So absolutely does give you feedback based off the 3 job descriptions that I have included for my LinkedIn scan.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Any other questions?
I think that you answered them all. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here.